The spooky, scary month of October is coming to a close. It gave us some frightfully good games. But now we must turn our eyes to November to see what games are on our minds day and night. So sit back and grab yourself a cup of tea, as we at the Republic of Players and Friends discuss some enticing games coming next month. Perhaps we'll shed some light on a game you might have overlooked. And I'll kick things off. Pure, simple fun. I feel there are a lot of games that fail to capture that these days for me personally. And there are only a select few genres in gaming that can bring that kind of euphoria. And beat 'em ups are the top of that list for me in this regard. Tunche, which I hope I'm pronouncing right, seems like it will fill in the gap for me as you laid the smackdown in the Amazon. There's something so joyous about battering the living lard out of a multitude of foes that makes you feel like a king. There are 5 characters to choose from in this 2D beat 'em up, with even one of them being the Hat Kid from A Hat in Time, which, I'm not gonna lie, is pretty darn cool. Each character has a distinct moveset and each look like a blast to use from what I have witnessed. And like many great beat 'em ups, we have local co-op, which you always love to see. Up to 2 players can play together as you go through the small arena areas where you'll be beating the absolute crap out of your enemies. There are roguelike elements, but then again, every game these days seems to have roguelike elements. All I know is that I am looking forward to beating the ever-living daylights out of my enemies. The game looks incredibly beautiful with its 2D hand-drawn art style that just makes your eyes stick like glue to the screen. Also, the music has a sensational, tribal-like air that suits the game really bloody well, and is honestly something you don't hear very often in games, so it's a nice change of pace. If you're a fan of beat 'em ups, then you should keep your eyes on Tunche. It's coming out on November the 2nd.
So the game I'm looking forward to most this month has once again been taken by someone else, but I'm not too annoyed because a very close second place is Forza Horizon 5. Developed by Playground Games and published by Xbox Game Studios, this is the 12th installment of the Forza series, and it's the 5th installment in the Forza Horizon series. The Horizon series is different to the more sim-based motorsport series in that you are dropped into a large open world as part of the Horizon Festival, a giant event celebrating all kinds of motorsport. You compete in events with cars ranging from old Datsuns all the way up to modern hypercars, rising through the ranks of the Horizon Festival and occasionally competing in huge events, racing things like fighter jets or even groups of dirt bikers. But the real star of the Horizon games is the amazing open world the Playground Games has managed to make for each game, the last 2 being Australia and mediocre Britain, and this game looks to have a beautiful rendition of Mexico. There's very few things in gaming I enjoy as much as setting up my steering wheel, hopping in a Lancia and just roaming around the open world of a Horizon game, and I'm very excited to get the chance to mess around with a new one. Forza Horizon 5 launches on 9th of November on PC and all Xbox consoles and gets released on Game Pass the very same day.
When the ball hits the net, it's not Rooney or Bex, it's not Bobby Zamora, it's actually John here from the Republic of Players. The game I am looking forward to the most, coming out in November 2021, is Football Manager 2022. Now, Football Manager is one of those franchises that I've played all my life. I remember going through all of secondary school, all of, basically up until now, missing a variation of it here and there. Like, for instance, I didn't get it last year, but it's a game where most years I will pick it up and I will play it for at least a few months. And if you love football, and if you're like an absolute nerd like me that likes the nitty-gritty, likes stats, likes making tactics, likes trying to figure out how to win, it's such a fantastic game. If you have no idea, it takes all the players, all the leagues from all over the world. It gives them their own stats, like something like FIFA, but instead of playing the game, you're setting up the tactics, you're doing the training, you're picking your staff, you're scouting, you're doing all these things, and you're setting your teams up to play the game, and then you watch the game as the manager, and your decisions on personnel, your decisions on tactics, your decision on everything will factor in, and you can decide whether you're up for the job or not. Well, the game usually will, because it will fire you if you're not doing too good. But it's got everything. It's got players being unhappy, it's got the boardroom turning on you, it's got your fans turning on you, or your fans absolutely loving you. You can take a team from the Division 3 and make them a Premiership team. You can be bad at the game and absolutely wreck a team. It's a lot of fun. And then looking at it, you know, you have to be into this type of game. It's all text-based. It's all just completely... It's very nerdy statistical stuff, but it's a lot of fun if you're into football, definitely. And you'll learn a bit from it, because I think you learn about Chelsea youth players or United youth players that you mightn't necessarily see, but you'll see them I swear to you, you'll see them in Football Manager when they're like 16, 17, and they'll be a world star 4 years later. And Football Manager nearly always predicts this stuff. It's actually scary. Also, you get to watch the matches play out. It's not like, back in the day when you just used to see text and a bar going across and who's got possession. There's actual football players on a pitch, and you get to watch the live matches. You can just watch the highlights, is what I do. Very good game. It doesn't have to change much, but it always does little tweaks every year. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Football Manager 2022.
The game we are looking forward to the most in the month of November is coming to the Nintendo Switch, and I have been waiting for this game to drop basically since we've known what the Switch was in its fully fledged form, and that game is...
Yeah, we are finally getting a GTA game on Switch.
No, well, yes, but we're here to talk and express our excitement for Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Yeah, this game is finally coming, and I have to say that I didn't really know much about the series. But the years of us being together, I've had to listen to Mr. Nasty talk about this game a lot. And I mean a lot.
If I was to describe Shin Megami Tensei, I would describe it as the older, underachieving big brother in comparison to the widely successful Persona series. Shin Megami Tensei 5 should be on anyone's radar, and if you're in the market for a well-made RPG with a fantastic turn-based battle system, not like the new Final Fantasy games that stray away from this with their more action-based combat, Shin is staying true to form. It will have an in-depth story that we won't know too much about, and we probably won't until the game is released, and that is because Atlus don't reveal too much about their games because discovery is one of the most important aspects of their storytelling. The game will have 214 different demons they battle against, and if you're invested in a game of this size, variety of enemies can only make or break that situation, and knowing that I won't be fighting Jack Frost over and over again is really exciting for me. The world isn't exactly an open world, but what I have seen that we're going to get a lot of freedom in the spaces that we have. We have only really tipped the icebergs on what we have seen and what is to come.
Persona 5 was my introduction to the Atlus family of JRPGs. Watching Mr. Nasty play Persona put in an extremely frustrating 200 hours into it, and hearing him yelp phrases more often than enough, "Oh shit, I did it again," or "F my life with just us 4 hours of gameplay." These are the sounds of a player who forgets to save or die before they reach the next save room.
Yeah, lads, these games don't have autosave.
Seems like pure and utter punishment. At the same time, he talks about how much he loved it. The story, the world, the gameplay. Also seems like a bit of a toxic relationship. I just had to try it for myself. Oh my fucking god, I just lost 300 hours of my life.
It's safe to say we love Persona, and anybody who loves that game should really be waiting at the starting blocks for Shin Megami Tensei. But the thing we are most excited for is the ability to take a JRPG of this caliber, handheld, being able to disconnect from your TV and bring this large experience into your hands and play inches from your face is going to make this grind so much more enjoyable.
I couldn't agree more. The game looks amazing running in Unreal Engine 4, and I always find when I can get a game like this and put that experience into my hands that it engulfs me. So when Shin Megami Tensei 5 drops, goodbye November, you might see a surface at Christmas.
And those are the games that have tickled our fancy for next month. Are any of you going to be picking up these games? Or is there games we failed to mention that deserve some loving? Let us know down in the comments below. Also, special thanks to MrNastyBoots and MrsNastyBoots for joining us today. Be sure to check them out, links in the description below. And until next time, take it handy, guys.